The doctors told me that most people retire, after they receive this diagnosis. I just really started my life. My son was 1 year old. I just started my dream job at NC State University, so the last thing I was going to do was retire.
Michael's my first graduate student here at NC State University, and he struck me as someone who really thought deeply about science and really wanted to make a difference. When he graduated, he went on to the University of Washington to do a postdoc, and then fortuitously, here at NC State, we happened to have a position that became available.
I got an opportunity to come back to NC State University. It was a dream come true. I was on top of the world. In January of 2015, just sitting there watching TV, my left bicep started twitching. I didn't really think too much of it. It was just, strange. I started seeing doctors, chiropractors, and eventually it got to the point where I needed to see some specialists. I was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis in June of 2015, 3 days before my 34th birthday. ALS is a neurodegenerative disease where motor neurons die in the brain and the spinal cord. You lose the ability to move, take care of yourself, eventually breathe. Anytime anybody's diagnosed with a disease like this, you finally get to a point where you have a fork in the road where you can continue going down this one path of depression, or you can fight back.
At that time, it was like there was nothing I could do in my mind that could help him. And then I said, well, maybe there is, because we do biological research. We can maybe make a difference.
One thing that many people may not understand is that only 10% of this disease is hereditary, 90% is sporadic. So that kind of links itself to some type of environmental factor. And we're specifically interested in these cyanotoxins that are produced by cyanobacteria. So the green algae-looking organisms that grow on ponds and things of that nature. And we see cyanobacteria blooms all across the United States.
The things that we found is that key proteins in the brain incorporate this neurotoxin. It's in shrimp, scallops, it's in the food web. If we can establish this link, we could really impact everything from environmental exposure all the way through human health and disease. The initial studies that we did with ALS was supported by the Beelan Distinguished Professorship Fund, and the Chancellor's Innovation Fund allows us to take those initial findings and deepen those findings into publications. My motivation for starting the Michael S. Berryman Lectureship was to each and every year make sure that we recognize Michael. He's not doing this for himself, he's doing it for the community of people out there that suffer from this disease.
It's a type of therapy, I do believe, and the idea that I could be making a huge difference is very rewarding to me.